Hey everyone, it's Lynette, and today I will be filming my most anticipated books for the second half of 2018. So the first book coming out in August that I am stoked for is #Murder Trending by Gretchen McNeil. I've read Gretchen McNeil before. She's a phenomenal writer. I always like her books because a lot of them are standalones, so it's not a lot of commitment and they're always really great mysteries, and Murder Trending sounds awesome. Basically, there is this app called The Postman where good, honest citizens can watch the executions of hardened criminals via the internet. This takes place around a 17-year-old girl who wakes up in this dimly lit warehouse and she knows she's about to be murdered for society to see for a crime that she did not commit. She forms this posse of hardened criminals in Alcatraz 2.0, and I've read that it's like the Breakfast Club in prison. I'm here for everything about the Breakfast Club. I love that classic 80s movie. This just sounds really intriguing and really dark and a really great mystery. So and also a little futuristic and dystopian-like, so I'm really looking forward to this one. #Murder Trending comes out on August 7th. This next book also comes out on August 7th. It's called Girl at the Grave by Terry Bailey Black. This is her debut novel. It sounds like a dark, gothic, historical fiction book. It sounds really great. I actually have an arc of this that I'm working on now, and so far this book is really great. The premise of this book is that this mother is hung for a murder that she didn't commit, and the daughter is left to pick up the pieces of her family and sort of piece together exactly what happened and try to clear her family's name of their dark past. That's really all the synopsis kind of said, and that's all it needed to say for me to be hooked. I'm intrigued and I'm looking forward to it. Girl at the Grave by Terry Bailey Black comes out on August the 7th. This next book that again comes out August 7th is called 9 by Zach Hines. This is a very dark, dystopian sounding book. Basically, in the not so far off future, humans have 9 lives, but the catch is that they can't wait to use them up. In order to control the population, the government has issued incentives for burning off your lives. So if you burn off a life, basically you get to skip all those awkward junior high years and awkward phases of life, and you get to mentally upgrade. Our main character, Julian, has no desire to use up his 9 lives because he watched his mother burn through hers so quickly and got this debilitating disease, and that ultimately ended her life altogether. So he wants to try to use his first life as efficiently as he can and as long as he can. But there's suicide groups at school, and Julian's friends are obsessed with burning off their lives and upgrading their mental state. And Julian knows he's going to have to burn a life at some point. So when he eventually does, he realizes that there's some sort of conspiracy within the rebirth process, and he and his friends set out to find out, I guess, how to fix that or exactly what that is. And this rebirth defect might have had some impact on his mother's death. So some kind of government conspiracy, which is always the central point of a great dystopian novel. So this one sounds really futuristic, really dark. It may have some trigger warnings for self-harm and suicide, so be aware of that. I have not read the book yet, but just be aware that there might be some triggers in this book regarding those issues. 9 by Zach Hines comes out again on August the 7th. The next book that I'm excited to read in August is called See All the Stars by Kit Frick. That is a great name. Kit Frick. I love that name. This has a great cover. That's initially what drew me to this book. And when I saw the cover, I thought maybe it was going to be a contemporary, but this sounds more like a mystery. The synopsis actually compares it to the book We Were Liars, E. Lockhart, which I loved the book We Are Liars. I know a lot of people had mixed feelings about that, but I thought it was a great mystery. I may have seen the twists and turns coming, but I thought it was great nonetheless. But this book has been compared to that. Basically, there was this girl, Ellery, who had these other friends, and it sounds like a lot of horoscope, astrological stuff too. They They say they were Venus, Earth, Moon, and Sun, but now Ellery's friends are gone and she's alone and you don't know why, so it seems like you're trying to piece together exactly what happened. It seems like it's going to be told through a series of flashbacks and flashing up to the present and flashing back to the past, so I'm really excited. It sounds like a really great ride and a really great mystery of trying to piece together exactly what happened. See All the Stars by Kit Frick comes out on August the 14th. The next book that I'm excited about for August is called Hidden Pieces by Paula Stokes. This one, again, is another mystery. All these great mysteries are coming out for fall. I love that. But this is also compared to We Were Liars and also the book One of Us is Lying, and I loved that book as well. But basically, the premise is there's this small town that has all of these secrets, and our main character, Embry, helps this homeless man escape from a fire, and automatically the town sees her as this hero. But she knows that there's secrets about what happened that night, and Hero couldn't be further from the truth of what she really is, so she has a lot of secrets about what went down that night. And she thinks that she can harbor these secrets and take them to the grave and not tell anybody, but like all great mystery novels, somebody saw her that night, so she receives an anonymous letter saying that they saw the events of that night, and now she must respond to a bunch of threatening messages and do things that maybe she didn't want to do, and make impossible choices in order for her secret to stay safe. This is giving me mad Pretty Little Liars vibes, and I was so upset by how the show Pretty Little Liars ended, so I am looking forward to reading this, and hopefully it will redeem mystery novels for me for a little while. Hidden Pieces comes out on August 28th. This next book might be the book that I am most excited for, new release wise, and it's called Mirage by Soumya Dodd. No, I'm not saying that name right, so I apologize. Basically, this book is inspired by the author's Moroccan heritage. It has a beautiful cover. It sounds like it's going to be a beautiful, colorful world, but also a very deadly world. Our main character, Amani, but she dreams of what life was like before the occupation of her country. She writes poetry, she's a dreamer. One day, Amani is captured by the regime, and she's taken to the palace where she realizes that she's almost an identical match to the cruel princess Mahram. I think I'm saying that right, Mahram. And Mahram, Princess Mahram, is hated by her people. She is cruel, she is vicious, her people do not like her, but Mahram is in need of a body double to go out in public because she's afraid of death threats because she's so hated by her people. So that's where Amani comes in. Amani is going to step in to be her body double, make public appearances, and she has to be willing to put her life on the line because be killed by the regime if she messes up, or she can be killed by the people because they hate the princess so much. So she's forced into this new brutal role in this new world, but she's surrounded by beauty in this beautiful palace, and she gets to spend time with the princess's fiance, which sounds like there might be a little bit of a romance there. But if she ever wishes to be free and to see her family again, she has to do the princess's bidding, and she realizes that life in the palace is cruel and violent, and one wrong move can lead to her death. It sounds like a really unique world. I'm really looking forward to it. Again, this cover is insanely pretty, so I'm really looking forward to reading Mirage. The book Mirage comes out on August 28th. This next book I am so excited for because it's the third and I think final book in a series that I've been reading. That series is the Thousandth Floor series. This book is called The Towering Sky by Katharine McGee. These covers are insanely pretty. I just have to own all three of them. What the Thousandth Floor trilogy is about is that it's 2119, far into the future, and there's this giant skyscraper in New York. That's basically where everybody lives, and at the bottom it's really big because that's where the people that are, you know, the most poor live. And as the tower ascends, it gets smaller and the richer people live at the top. So this basically takes place about people, the family that lives on the 1000th floor, but it takes place with people all over the tower to give you a sense of what life is like. So basically there's been secrets, there's been death, there's been people killing each other, so it's like a futuristic Gossip Girl, Pretty Little Liars type of chick lit novel, but it is so good, so I am so excited to finally see what's in store for the conclusion. The Towering Sky will be released on August 28th. This next book I actually started this week, and it is so good so far. I'm so excited to see how it ends. It's called This Story is a Lie by Tom Pollock. Basically, there you have this boy who has severe anxiety and severe OCD, like really, really bad, that he can't even go out really in public and have a semblance of being normal. He's just very scared, very nervous, very anxious, and his OCD just basically takes over his mind. But this kid is a genius. He's this mathematician, and he's like a human calculator. He can just like do math like as fast as a calculator can. It's incredible the way his mind works. And his mother is this famous scientist, and she is getting ready to win an award, a very prestigious award, and he has to go to this banquet, and he's very nervous about it because there's going to be all these people and these strangers, and he's just getting himself all worked up about it. So they get to the banquet, and right before his mother is about to accept his award, he gets so nervous by all the people surrounding him that he dashes out of the room. Somehow his mother gets hurt. Somebody hurts her. His sister goes missing. His twin sister goes missing. So now these people come to help, but he doesn't know if they're bad guys or if they're really paramedics. There's this woman saying she's a doctor, but he doesn't know if she's a friend or an enemy. So he has no choice but to go along with what could have been his mother's assailants. And he doesn't know whether they're good guys or bad guys. And he has to use math to sort of figure out what happened to his mother, where his sister is, while all the time battling this severe OCD and anxiety that he has. It's just such a really incredible world so far, and the way this boy's mind works is just phenomenal. The writing is choice. It is so good so far. So I'm really looking forward to the conclusion. This is Tom Pollock's YA debut, so I'm really looking forward to the conclusion of this book. This Story is a Lie comes out on August the 7th. The next book I'm excited about in August is called These Rebel Waves. But this sounds really great. It sounds like another epic fantasy tale that I am here for in the fall. So I'm really looking forward to it. It has princes and kingdoms and pirates and all kinds of things happening in this book. So it sounds really good. And These Rebel Waves comes out on August the 7th. Now we are on to the September releases, which September is another phenomenal month for new releases, and I'm super excited about these books as well. The first one is called Not Even Bones by Rebecca Schaeffer. This one sounds so dark and kind of gory and really, really twisted. It's described as Dexter meets This Savage Song. I don't know that I need to read anything else. I love the show Dexter. I'm reading This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. It's an excellent book. It sounds so magical and I just want to eat it up. It sounds so fantastical. I just can't wait for it. But basically it's this girl and she sells magical body parts on the black market until one day she is caught. But Nita has the ability to change her appearance, which is a power that is coveted in the world of the black market. So if she wants to escape, Nita has to be willing to ask herself the question if she's willing to become the worst kind of monster. Oh, it sounds so good. I'm so excited for it. And it has such a simplistic but yet creepy cover. Oh, I'm here for it. Not Even Bones comes out on September the 4th. This next book is called Dare You to Lie, and it's another author's name that I'm going to butcher. But it's by Amber Lynn Notch. Oh, I butchered that. I'm so sorry. Anyway, this book sounds amazing. And it sounds like it has a really great heroine character, which I love a strong female lead. And Kai's FBI father is framed for murder. A lot of framing going on in fall books, I've noticed. She's forced to move back to the small town which she grew up in, but this small town has turned its back on her because there was a scandal that involved her a few years back which caused her to leave in the first place, and there's this boy there that betrayed her. So she has to go back to this small town in order to clear her father's name. Her reappearance comes with its own consequences. The people of the town just won't let this girl forget what she did. And the threats against her are mounting, so the FBI sends this rookie agent to kind of tail Kai. So she is more determined than ever to not only clear her father's name, but also to unveil the secrets of this small town. And they got some skeletons in their closet that she needs to uncover. So she finds herself in a much bigger plot. And everyone thought that she would just forgive and forget what happened years ago, but the town is going to discover that they messed with the wrong, strong female heroine, which is Kai. So I am living for a strong female lead. I'm super excited about this book. And Dare You to Lie comes out on September the 4th. This next book I think is going to be the conclusion of a trilogy. It's called Escaping from Houdini by Kerri Maniscalco. I think I'm saying that right. The first one is called Stalking Jack the Ripper. The second one is called Hunting Prince Dracula. And this is the third one, that is Escaping from Houdini. These are historical fiction novels that have a twist on like classic tales like Houdini and Dracula and Jack the Ripper. So I started reading Jack the Ripper, oh, when was it? Like the beginning of summer. And I just wasn't in the right mindset because the setting was so dark. It's in this, dreary London, and Jack the Ripper is out in the streets stalking people. So it was really dark. It was like too dark for summer. So I'm going to put that off until fall. Hopefully I will get to Hunting Prince Dracula, and then I'll be all ready for Escaping from Houdini when it comes out on September the 18th. Another book that comes out on September the 4th that I am so excited for is Two Dark Reigns by Kendare Blake. This is the third book in the Three Dark Crowns trilogy. If you aren't familiar with this trilogy, it is super dark and fantastical and magical, and I love it so much. It's basically about three queens who are triplets, that they were raised together until they were about 10 years old, and then they were separated and they went off into these own little separate nooks of the kingdom because when they're 16 they have to compete to kill one another in order to get the throne. This has been like a tradition for centuries within the kingdom, but of course, things don't always happen the way they need to happen or have happened, and chaos ensues, and it's just such a great plot twisting book. It just takes you on a ride. It is so good. The second book is called One Dark Throne. It is just as good. And now this one is called Two Dark Reigns. And I think there's going to be one after this as well. But Two Dark Reigns comes out on September the 4th. Next September release is called Imposters by Scott Westerfield. I'm really excited about this because this takes place in the same universe as his other series, The Uglies. I don't think it's a continuation of this series. I think it has new characters and a new storyline, but it's just kind of set in that same verse. So if you are a fan of the series The Uglies by Scott Westerfield, then I think you will really enjoy Imposters, which comes out on September 11th. Now on to the October releases. The first one is The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy by Mackenzie Lee. This is the sequel to The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, but it has a female lead. Basically, I think it's a historical fiction novel. This girl is trying to avoid marriage proposals of suitors, and she wants to be a doctor, which is something that women don't typically do in her day and age. So I'm really excited. She sounds like another strong female lead. I heard that The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue was really funny and really a good book. I have it on audiobook, I just haven't gotten around to listening to it yet, so I'll have to do that before October 2nd, which is when The Lady's Guide of Petticoats and Piracy comes out. This next book is called The Boneless Mercies, and it has a great cover. I love this cover. It's what initially drew me to this book, and then the synopsis just roped me in because it sounds amazing. These four girls, Frey, Ovi, Juniper, and Runa, and they are what's called mercies. They are girls that are charged with killing people quietly and mercifully. But Frey doesn't really like this agreement, and she dreams of having a bigger life. When she hears of this unstoppable monster raging and rampaging in this nearby town, she sees a way for the Boneless Mercies to get out of this life of killing by going to killing this monster. This would be the heroic saga that she grew up on, and she wants a better life for her and her friends. This says it is full of fierce girls, bloodlust, tenuous alliances, and unapologetic quest for glory. It just sounds like such a really intriguing world, a really intriguing story, and I am always here for fierce female leads. The Boneless Mercies will be released on October the 2nd. There are 2 sequels on my list, and I haven't read the first ones yet, but I want to read them before October so that I can read the sequels coming out. So I don't want to read the synopsis because I don't want to ruin anything for myself. But the first sequel is a sequel to Strange the Dreamer, and that is Muse of Nightmares. And the second is the sequel to The Girl with the Red Balloon, which is called The Spy with the Red Balloon. Both of these books have awesome covers. I heard really good things about their predecessors, so I really have to read the first books in order to read these 2, which both come out on October the 2nd. This next book I am so pumped for. I know I have said that about every single book so far, but seriously, there are some good releases coming out this fall. This one is no exception. It's by one of my favorite authors, Michael Grant, and it's the second one in his new series. And this book is called Villain. It is the sequel to Monster, which came out last fall. This is basically a continuation of the Gone series, which is an older YA series, but if you haven't read it, it's excellent. I think it's going to either be made into a movie or TV show upcoming, so if you haven't checked out the Gone series, you have to read the Gone series before you read this one. Basically, these books take place 4 years after the events that happen in Gone. They use some of the same characters, but they also introduce some new characters as well. I don't want to say too much more. I do have a full review video of the book Monster that I will link down below if you would like to check that out. But Villain is just a continuation of that story, and I am so excited for it because Michael Grant's writing is so great. So if you haven't read the Gone series, be sure to pick that up. And if you have, make sure that you check out Monster and the new one, Villain. This next book is called Shadow of the Fox, which is by Julie Kagawa. I think I might be saying that right. Basically, this is an Asian-inspired fantasy novel. It has dragons and Asian influences, and the cover is insanely awesome. And again, I'm always here for a great fantasy novel, and I haven't read an Asian-inspired one, so I'm really looking forward to this one. Shadow of the Fox will be released on October the 2nd. And of course, the final book that I'm excited about for the month of October is the conclusion of the Throne of Glass series, which is the final book called Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. I'm not completely caught up in this series. I'm only on number 4, so I'm really hoping to bust through the other ones, the other 3, I think, until this one comes out, so that I'm all ready to read it when it comes out at the end of October. This has a great cover. Sarah J. Maas, again, she's my girl. I love her writing style. She's probably my all-time favorite author. So I'm really looking forward to this. I really hope that I can get the rest of the series read so that I am ready to read the conclusion. I only have one book for the month of November, so if you know of any other November releases that I might like or I might be interested in, leave them in the comment section below. But the one book that I'm excited about for the month of November is called Girls of Paper and Fire. Again, another insanely beautiful cover. I love it so, so much. Basically, this is a fantasy novel, and each year 8 paper girls, are chosen to serve the king. It's the highest honor that any girl could ever hope for, but it's also the most demeaning. But this year, there's a 9th girl, and she's a girl of 5. So our story revolves around the girl Lei, who is a member of the paper community, which is the lowest and most persecuted class of the people of this country. But Lei has these beautiful golden eyes, and she's said to be a girl of great beauty. So the guards of the king come and capture her to go and train to perhaps one of the king's servants. So she trains with the other girls, and she learns everything to charm and wit the king's consort. But she does something unthinkable. She falls in love. And it doesn't say who she falls in love with, whether that's the king or somebody in the training sessions, I don't know. But she falls in love. So now she embarks on this quest of justice and revenge. So it's all about, I guess, breaking the system and breaking the chains of oppression. So I'm really looking forward to this book as well. I only have one book again for the month of December, so if you know of any other books coming out in December, leave them in the comment section below. But the one book that I'm looking forward to is called The Disasters by M.K. England. This has an awesome cover. I was just like flabbergasted when I saw this cover. It is so, so neat. And I think it's an epic space tale, which you know I'm always for. But it's described as The Breakfast Club meets Guardians of the Galaxy. Two of my favorite things. So, here's the synopsis for the book. Hotshot pilot Nax Hall has a history of making poor life choices, so it's not exactly a surprise when he's kicked out of the elite Ellis Station Academy in less than 24 hours. But Nax's one-way trip back to Earth is cut short when a terrorist group attacks the Academy. Nax and 3 other washouts escape, barely, but they're also the sole witnesses to the biggest crime in history of the space colonization, and they are the perfect scapegoats. On the run, Nax and his fellow failures plan to pull off a dangerous heist to spread the truth. They may not be Academy material, and they may not even get along, but they're the only ones left to step up and fight. Full-on, high-stakes action, subversive humor, and underdogs becoming heroes, this YA sci-fi adventure is perfect for fans of Illuminae, me, Heart of Iron, or the cult classic TV show Firefly, and it's also a page-turning thrill ride that anyone, not just space nerds, can enjoy. So that just sounds awesome, and I'm really looking forward to that. The Disasters will release on December the 18th. So that is every book on my most anticipated list for the second half of 2018. Let me know what's on your most anticipated list, if there's anything I may have missed or anything that sounds intriguing to you, because I always love reading new books and new authors, and I just love books. So let me know your thoughts, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!